I'm Guy Calkins, and started using stall catchers back in April of last year. There was the Crowd in the Cloud special that was aired on PBS, and that's how I found out about stall catchers and gave it a try, and found it intriguing and interesting. Tried the game. I've tried other citizen science games. This one I found kind of interesting. It was fairly straightforward. I found it was a game that I could play while watching TV, doing other things, so multitask didn't require my 100% attention, and I could take a break when I needed to, as opposed to a continuous play. I was hooked on it because of its implication and impact on society. This is Alzheimer's is a disease that I'm familiar with. I had a grandparent who suffered from Alzheimer's. My wife's grandparent also suffered from Alzheimer's. And so it was something that, struck a chord in terms of meaningful research, citizen science research that I could help to contribute to. So that's why I started playing and why I've continued to play up to now. I've played iWire is another citizen science game that I've played. I've tried some of the Zooniverse games, the Fold It pieces, some of the other games. Some of those are pretty intense, and found them interesting, but required a little more of my time and attention and focus, whereas this one, again, is something that I could contribute to and do it a little more casually, and something that I found intriguing. I found it fairly straightforward. I'm a bit of a visual spatial person, and so I understood the imaging that I was looking at, so it was fairly straightforward. In terms of my understanding of vessels and the pathways and the morphology of looking at the imaging going down through layers. So I at least had some previous understanding of what that looked like, so I found it fairly straightforward. I can see that other people, and I know some of the other players, have maybe struggled a little bit more trying to find and understand what it is they're looking at and the layers as you're slicing down through the vessels. But that part was pretty easy. And then it's a learning process. As you see more and gain more experience, you start to understand more of the patterns of what you're looking for in terms of stalls versus flowing, and some of the basic rules that you'll see in there. Well, coming up on my 1-year anniversary is how long I've been playing this. So I have quite a bit of experience now in terms of seeing what's there and understanding some of the various types of patterns and variations that I guess you would say that exist. I think it's finding a contribution that is making a difference, and I think that hearing some of the successes from the Shaffer-Nishimura Lab is helpful and informative, and I find it like I said, as long as I feel I'm making a positive contribution towards some success and advancement in curing or treating this disease, is really motivation for me to continue. And again, I find I can make the contribution to that end. I love the camaraderie, the discussions that we can have a little bit in the forum. I'm looking forward to some kind of a chat box feature that we've been promised is coming. Hopefully it'll be coming along soon, because I think that the social aspect of this game is going to be an important ongoing element. I know it exists in some of the other citizen science games, and I find, that ability to communicate and, talk a little more real time with some of the other players is a social aspect that is also going to be important here. Yes, I would say we have fun. There's, I'll say, a friendly competition. Mr. Capraro and myself, we exchange notes periodically, privately, and so we have fun trying to match each other's scores on a daily basis. He's been outdoing me lately, so I will catch up with Mr. Capraro soon enough here. So he better stay tuned. Sure. I think you mentioned the chat box would certainly be a nice feature just to make it a little more social. But I think some sort of an aid to help me identify the targeted vessel I think is because that's where I find myself struggling the most as a player and as a catcher, is determining which vessel is actually being targeted. And I know that that frustrates me, so therefore I'm assuming that it probably frustrates some of the other players in this game. Yeah, my background, I have a few different careers that I've been involved with through my life, from marketing manager, teacher, none of them related to biomedical research. Like I said, my interest in the game is purely from family connections, back to my grandparents, and knowing that this is a societal need and a way in which I can contribute through science. I am a scientist way back in my training, back in college, so I enjoy science, and this is a way that I can help to spend some of my retirement years. I was very pleased. I got to meet Dr. Shaffer and a chance to see the lab and some of their setup. It's everything you would expect in terms of a research facility, and was very pleased to see what's going on there. So I, again, very, very happy and pleased to be able to come and share that experience. Well, I'm hoping that we can make some advances in treating and or helping to relieve some of the symptoms of Alzheimer's and success with patients. So, the fact that we can help to move the research forward at a more accelerated pace, I'm hopeful we'll at least do our part along with all of the rest of the research that's obviously going on across the country and around the world. But what they've seen and some of the things that Dr. Shaffer was able to share, and we've seen through some of his interviews, we all have hope that we can in fact find a treatment for Alzheimer's.